Guys, this is big. So I'm sure you have heard about ChatGPT. Well, now we have, well, goddammit, that's not the right thing. Let's go to Find. This is a AI search engine for specifically us. It uses ChatGPT 3, but it's more tailored towards like programming questions. I've tried it out in a couple of things, and yeah, it's actually like very good. Two very nice things about it. First of all, it does not require you to have an account, so nothing needed to start using it. And second of all, it doesn't need you to be able to access ChatGPT. So I'm Russian, I live in Russia, and due to some things that we did, horrible by the way, I can't access ChatGPT normally, so I had to do some weird bullshittery to get access to it, and it's not even that consistent. Well, now it's not an issue, because this works for me without a VPN. And another thing that's very great, let's ask it some example question like how to use bind key in Z shell. Look at the link. It actually has the prompt and, well, the website itself, obviously, as the link, which means that I was able to add it to my internet search. So now I can do p space and then like whatever I want to search for. Let's come up with something different. What does export mean in, once again, ZSL? And here we go, we got to this place. And by the way, if you don't know what internet search is, I made a video on it some time ago. But this is not the only thing that I wanted to mention in this video. I finally finished doing something that multiple other people already did in some fashion. Let's actually go where I wanted to show you. JNobody actually made a solution to it, which I don't like perfectly, but it works, and it already existed. Depth Trawler from the AutoHotkey Discord, he also made it work somehow. Some random guy that asked for help on the AutoHotkey Discord also, I imagine, made it happen. And me, the person who made the class in the first place, didn't. Funny, right? Well, I finally got it working, and it's mostly like, it's, I don't know, 80% thanks to Anonymous 1184. My fellow, let's count once again. My fellow 839-year-old. So, what am I even talking about? HoverScreenshot is a class which I also have a video about, and it lets you pick a picture that you want to show up on your screen. So I have a hotkey set up for it. It opens the selection box. Let's go to something like emojis and pick, yeah, by the way, that's how I make them my thumbnails. I install, like download emojis, so we can take that, and we have a bird now. And you see that like where it's transparent, it is transparent. Oh, that was not supposed to happen. See, that's kind of cute. Like, you could just place a bird on your screen. But yeah, this is actually a picture that is a GUI, so technically a window, but you won't see it. And yeah, you can drag it around and you can double click it to remove it. However, what I wanted to do is by using Windows Shift S, I take a screenshot, and then I want to have some way to immediately pop that screenshot as a thing. And now I can actually do that. What I used to do is once again use my hotkey to then go to the place where all of your screenshots from Windows Shift S are stored. This is the path, by the way. Yeah, so your nickname, and here we go. Don't use it, by the way. Yeah. here are where they are stored, and I'm going to explain the intricacies of that and how it got solved in just a moment. So I wanted to essentially pick this one. What is this one? For every screenshot that you take, well, almost every screenshot that you take using Windows Shift S, it also creates a thumbnail. Let's try to take another screenshot and see, there's a picture there. And to appear here, it actually makes a separate picture, which is the thumbnail. And then it also has the actual picture. It's kind of annoying that it works that way, and it's even more annoying that it only works that way sometimes, but it is what it is. Essentially, now it works. If you just take my code, it will kinda work, but you would have to also have paths, which is also publicly available, but essentially taking that path that I just showed you in the Explorer window, and then that. And like, here you go. You can have the same exact thing that I have. But how does it work? So let's actually go to the folder in a normal format. There are JSON files, which is what Depth Crawler actually used. That dude is insane, like crazy, in a very good way. He somehow like read the correct JSON while it was being written, then get the width and height of it, then compared it to, like, that's crazy. Yeah, but I use a different method that doesn't involve the JSON files at all. So what do we do here? These two pictures are being made at pretty much the same exact timestamp. So if we use the HK built-in a loop file time modified is a bit better, I think. It's false. I don't think that. Anon thinks that, and I just trust him very much. So if we use this, well, this number is the YYYYMM HH24 miss timestamp that AutoHotkey uses, and I hate it, honestly, but that's all right. But with this type of precision, like the precision that we have here is only up to seconds, but what if two files are made at the same exact second? Well, it's going to be difficult to compare them in terms of time. What if we had 4 extra digits? And, well, I now do. So I can more accurately, I accidentally opened Discord, that's not what I wanted to do. I can now more accurately see which one came first. So what we first do is sort all of these files, all of these PNGs, by their modification date or creation date, if you would like to use that. That should also work the same exact way. And we end up having an array of all the file paths in order of newest to oldest. Great. And now we remember that I said that the thumbnail only gets created sometimes? So what you would think is probably, oh, since we have going from the newest to the oldest, just always pick the second one, because the first one is going to be the latest thumbnail, and the second one will be the latest actual screenshot. Well, this is unfortunately, fuck you Windows, not true, because sometimes the thumbnail just doesn't get created. However, if we look at it, and on the hover, it has dimensions of 455 to 25. And again, I noticed that thumbnails always have the same exact width and height. So we can compare that width and height and just not take it, because now we understand that it's a thumbnail. Unless, I guess, you make a screenshot of exactly and specifically those coordinates, or dimensions rather. And if you do, well, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to tell you. Good luck next time, I guess, but it's very unlikely, so it's very good enough, especially comparing to the previous methods that I've seen people use. Trying to make this work is far more annoying than you would expect. So, yeah, we go from the newest file to the oldest and keep checking the dimensions of that picture. If it's 455225, then we just don't take it and go to the next file. But if it's anything other than that, well, we just take it and here we go. We can make it appear. Great. So let's actually go there and see at the code. Look at the code, rather. Interesting. See at the code. That's wild. So we use get file sorted by date. Not a built-in function. Gonna show you. Provided instead of a directory, we provide a pattern to it. Similarly to how we would in loop files, and then like some path and your pattern. Same exact thing because we are actually using a file loop. I think we do. Well, we'll get to see, I guess. The reason why I made it so instead of providing a directory, you provide a pattern is so you could do something like this. Instead of also, oh, I closed it. Oh, for fuck's sake. Instead of also going through the JSON files, which we straight up don't need, you can specify that, oh, just search through the PNGs. And this is why patterns are quite useful. So this is the directory, then backslash, any name, but has the extension of PNG. Great. Now let's go to get file sorted by date. It's kind of scary the first time Anon sent this code because it's straight up just his code. I modified it just a bit, some naming, some like refactoring, but it's his code. He's the G right here. He should have been the person who makes the video, but he doesn't, and I do. So here we go. I'm gonna explain how this works and what's happening here. So one interesting fact about maps. Hold up. Yeah, about maps. They are sorted by like alphabetically. And they're sorted that way automatically. And that's what we're gonna abuse. And it's kind of interesting how we do that. I said do. Because we get a loop files. So yeah, just as I said, going through the files of our pattern. So the folder that we provided there, but only PNGs. But this function can be used for like anything else because you provide the pattern, and you can also then decide whether you want from new files to old files or from old files to new files. It's from new to old by default. Okay, so first of all, we start out by getting the actual modification time. Instead of using a loop file gets date modified or something like that, which is only 14 digits up to seconds, we use a special DLL call, which we will look into, to get 18 digits. So quite a bit more specific, and we can actually get the most precise modification time. However, if you look at that time, not sure if I even have a good way to show you, but let's try to. Let's do some screenshot, and yeah, it works. So if we look at this time, we don't really see like where's the year, where's the month, where's the day. Yeah, you're not gonna get them. It's not particularly useful visually because by expectation, I guess, suggestion, thought of depth trawler, maybe this is POSIX time. Why would Windows use that? I don't know, but essentially this is not time that you can look at and parse and so on. It's useless by itself, but it's very useful if you want to compare different files and which one is the newest and which one is the oldest. So we get that modification time, which once again is kind of useless by itself. Okay, we'll come back to that later. And we add a key value pair to the map that we defined earlier, with the key of modification time and then the full path of the file that we were looking at. So what we end up having is essentially like map and then this big ass number, full path. Yeah, I'll just keep it at that for like, yeah, something like this, where we get big random numbers and then the actual paths to files. The thing is about maps, just as I mentioned prior, they are sorted automatically by key alphanumerically, meaning that these random numbers are being sorted automatically, which is wild. Such a wild idea, so cool, so smart. But as you might know, if something that you're doing in code is smart, it's probably bad code. And it kind of applies here. We should have gotten an array and then sorted it. That would be the more readable approach, but oh well, I have the code already, so I don't care. So this thing, the fact that those numbers are being sorted automatically, is why this code is here. If new to old, then we reverse the order by multiplying them by -1, by making all of those digits negative. And then, like, the digit that was once the biggest, meaning the most recent, is now the smallest because it's a negative. So it essentially reverses, which is how we get a different order. Now, it's not really useful to have a map of just some random numbers, which you're not gonna guess, and there is no way, well, not really, but no handy way to get like the third value in a map. You have to use the key. Which is why we create an array and just push all of that into an array. We completely ignore the modification times because, once again, they're not useful as values, they're only useful for comparison. And now this array has the file paths of all the files in order of their, in this case, modification time. Yeah, great. And actually, before I forget, I hate the name modification time, like get file modification time, because see what I specify here? I'm gonna change the name and explain why I do that in just a second. The reason why I decided to rename it now is because I just noticed it, and the files that you see me explore in all of my videos, at least HK videos, are in active development pretty much always. They change, they get renamed, they get moved, and so on. So if I leave a link in my description to that file, it's almost guaranteed that in the future it will get broken. So I might as well try at least a bit to like make that link work correctly, because get file modification time is now incorrect. Me and DepthCrawler changed the implementation to have two other things. See how we get modification time here? Let's go and see why we do that. Well, that's because we return an object that has the creation time, the access time, and modification time. So whichever one you actually need, you can use by specifying it like this. And yeah, this is the function that we use to get the more precise modification time. How does it do it? Some random DLL call. Once again, thank Anonymous1184 for this, because I do not understand DLL calls at all. I do not use them. I only like steal them essentially. Like I'm not comfortable with DLL calls at all, which is why I don't have a video on them on my channel. But yeah, it does something. I'll try my best to explain it. So the DLL call needs a file handle of the file that we're looking at. So we get it. And then, would you look at that? We use it. And then we use byref to get our variables. And the reason why they are defaulted to 0, I think, is that we don't get an error in case some of them doesn't exist. Maybe like access time. Maybe you don't access it at all, and there is no access time, so there would be an error maybe, so we preset it as 0 just in case. That's my like expectation. Once again, that idea is by Anon, so ask him maybe. But seems very reasonable to think that, at least to me. So yeah, get file times. And just to make a reminder, all the files that you see in my videos will most likely be in lib-v2, which is the first like repo under my GitHub profile, to which I leave a link to in the description. And you see this little thing at the top? That's how you can get the path to the current file that you're seeing at any time. So that's like a hack in case I forget or whatever to leave a specific link in the description to that file. You can still understand where to get it. And yeah, let's go to HoverScreenshot. We got files sorted by date. Great, and we get an array of files sorted by their date. Yeah. Great. Let's go through this array starting from the newest file. Let's get the size of that file, so the dimensions of that file. So, is this file's width 455 and its height 225? If it is, then continue, like do nothing with this. But if it isn't, then we got our picture path, which is exactly what we need to set to use HoverScreenshot, and return this so you can, well, actually, let me show you why. No, it's in mouse singular. Yeah. Here's the hotkey that I use. We create the instance, then call this method, and we return this so we can chain methods like this, so you don't have to make it multi-line. Yeah, get pic size. Who would you guess? Like, also written by Anon. Almost nothing is written by me in this video. I made like some niceties. For example, splitting these things into different functions so you can use them separately, renaming some stuff, but the actual crux of the code is done by Anon. So thank him. Make a comment right now where you say thank you, Anon. Maybe thank him like in person, in terms of like on the AutoHotkey Discord. I'm sure he would appreciate that. So get big size. Okay, here I have no idea. I honestly have no idea. I have maybe like a bit more idea than you do what's happening here. Essentially, there are some DLL calls that use JDI Plus, which is a built-in library of Windows for creating graphics on your screen. That's what I know. I tried to use GDI, completely fucking couldn't do it. Yeah. And it does some random stuff with it and gets us the width and height of a picture. There's another way to get that same thing, and it's by creating a GUI. Yeah, is by creating a GUI, adding that picture to that GUI, and then using, like, say, gcpic is the variable of the picture GUI control. Yeah, and then we use get size, and then you can read the docs on that. That's another way to do it, and it's actually pretty stable, apparently. But this might be faster. It seems to me like it would be. I imagine it is. I haven't made tests, so I may be false on that, but that's another way that you can do it more easily, more readably as well. But yeah, get big size, which we use here. And like, that's it. Yeah, use recent screenshot. Now, goddamn, like, I love it so much because my use is I study on a C# course. What, I did not expect that to work that way, but yeah, imagine I'm just studying on a course. Once it loads, then see a cringe meme, even though Fight Club is one of my favorite movies, so I immediately skip, and I'm like, oh, like some stuff that I need an answer for. You don't know Russian anyway? I can lie, right? So yeah, say I take a screenshot of that, pick it right here, go to VS Code to, oh, well, not here, to make the code that I need to answer that. So I like don't have to split my screen into two windows or nothing like that. I just get what I need, put it right here. And by the way, this is a window, but this window can never be active. Even though I'm clicking on it and dragging on it, VS Code is still the active window, which is a recent change that I made. And yeah, I'm like doing stuff, whatever, and then I come back and paste it, double click, or yeah, let's bring it back. You can also press Control Escape to delete it. And if you have multiple, god damn it, if you have multiple, actually you're gonna see easier. Yeah, by the way, you can just spam the same one if you want to, like I'm doing right now. I can either double click on all of them, on every single one of them to delete them, or just hold down Control Escape and all of them will eventually delete. But as you can see, if you hold it down, you will eventually invoke this window because Control Escape brings back itself into being like not a HK hotkey. So I use it only when such a window is existing. Right. So that should be about it on the changes that I made. The changes are amazing. What I did to get them is not particularly amazing. I made it pretty nice to use, organized, but all of the like effort and energy was by Anon, and I'm incredibly thankful to him. Great guy. So thank you once again, and thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed it, press a like, type some comment, maybe have a question or a suggestion. Definitely subscribe so you don't miss my content, but most importantly, stay fresh, cheese bags, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!